taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about you need a job, a car, and your own place tonight. You need a job, a car, your own place tonight. Job, a car, your own place tonight. Job, a car, and your own place tonight. That's how you get right. I said you need a job in your own place tonight. You need a job in your own place tonight in the car. You need a job in your own place tonight in the car. You ain't gotta be a star to be in my show, but you need your own place in the car, yo. And you better have some income coming in, or you can't get this thing. You're bumming when I see that you ain't got nothing that you bring it to the table. You ain't willing and able to get with this. So this, yo, you have to miss me, yo. Can't get in without the criteria. Low tier, right here. Everything is gonna be all right, is it? You need a job tonight. You need a job in a car and your own place to stay. Job in a car and your own place to stay. You need a job in a car and your own place to stay. Yo, come around my way. Yo, come around my way. Come around my way. Come around. Hey, what they need? Need a car, a job, and a house. I need a car, job, and a house. You need a car, job, and a house before I'ma let you dig it out. So, job, car, and a house. I said job, car, and a house. Requirements, job, car, and a house. Yeah. Hey, is that really a lot to ask? Am I giving you a really big task? Yeah. Let me know, because it's gonna go down like that for real, yo. I don't want to make nobody mad, but these are the kind of things adults have. And if you ain't got it, then you gotta holler back. I get you. You can't get a dollar at this dollar store. Now it's just $1.50. If you got a car in the house and a job, you can with me. You can get with me, and you can be there. What's your address? I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. All right. Let's get it poppy, y'all. Right. Marvina. Hit that like button, y'all. Share this show. people having mad ailments. I want all my people to be good, healthy and all that. Hit that like button, y'all. Yeah. If you got your own crib and a job and a car, hit that like button. So that's what we're talking about tonight. You need what you need a house. Well, you need a crib, a house, apartment, loft. You need a job. So we always talk about, what do you bring to the table? Well, we gonna talk about it tonight. Think we ain't when we is? So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily. It's the daily go-getter-mism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking all fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about a job, a car, and a crib tonight. We're going to talk about that old adage, that new adage, that thing that people always talk about on the internet. What do you bring to the table? Tell me what you bring to the table, shorty. You tell me what you bring to the table. What I bring to the table, I bring 6 figures. I bring a crib. I bring only one baby mom. And I got a whip. I got 2 whips. I got a truck whip. I got a sports whip. I'm trucking it and I'm cooping it. And plus I got investments. I got my own business. I got it going on. I'm getting money out here. I'm a prize out here, baby. That's what I bring to the table. What you got, Ma? What you got? Well, first of all, I graduated from Spelman. Yes, that's right. Summa cum loudly. I graduated some cum loudly. I could have graduated many cum loudly, but I graduated some cum loudly, and I got it going on too. I used to be a model. Now I'm just a bitch that's pretty, and I got it going on. I ain't got no baby fathers. I got my own money. I got my own crib, but I'm not on no independent woman type vibe. I could still treat a man like a real man, but he just gotta know how to lead. That's what I'm bringing to the table. I match energy, baby. All right, Ma, I see what you talk. I see. Okay. All right. Sound man back one? Or is that a black one? Sound man, what's good, man? Champ is here? That's what I'm talking about. So that's what we're talking about tonight. People always talking about what you bring to the table. But this is bigger than that. How many of y'all think that that's a lot to ask for somebody, starting out? You first meet somebody, you think about dating them, you know what I mean? Maybe starting something meaningful, but a springboard. At the bare minimum, you want them to have a job, a steady income, a car, so y'all can go out, You know what I'm saying? You know, gotta be whipping. And they own spot. They own spot. So you know what I mean? So she can walk around the crib naked. Without being like, yo, my mom, yo, you gotta like wear my robe, shorty, when you go to the bathroom, cause you know my mom, you know what I'm saying, she be tripping sometime. Or, you know, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, my little brother, I don't want him to be, you know, feeling some kind of way about you. My baby brother, I don't want my baby brother getting all, you know what I mean? I don't want you to cause his arousal. From what I understand, you know, women like a little bit of privacy when they go see their man. You know. From what I understand. So, you know, we talk about this a lot on the internet. What do you bring to the table? Well, tell me what you bring to the table. Now, on the real, it's hard for me to believe that these scenarios play out in real life, but I know for a fact that they do. But I couldn't see it happening with me like, yo, shorty, I mean, what do you have? Because, I mean, how do you know how serious you want to get with a person off the rip? How do you know? First, there's a physical attraction, like, okay, she look good, he look good, okay. You know what I mean? We could do the search thing. Click. All right, cool. But how do you know how far you want to go with somebody after just meeting them? And so how does the conversation spark? Well, yeah, what do you bring to the table? What do you have for me? Like, prove to me that you're good enough to be in this relationship with me. Prove to me that I should spend some time, waste some time with you. Prove to me that you are worth the effort that I would put in to trying to be with you. I wanna be your man. I wanna be your man. I wanna be your man. My mind is blind at times. I can't see anyone but you. Those other girls don't matter much in my point of view. I must make you understand. I wanna be your man. Shout out to 1987. We had it going on in 87, yo. We had it going on in 87. All right, so all right, let's go ahead and have this talk. You know what I mean? You know, let's go ahead and have this talk. So we talking about you need a job, a car, and a crib. You need a job, a car, and a crib. You need a job, a car, and a crib. You need a job, a car, and a crib. Job, car, crib. You need a job, a car, and a crib. Is that asking too much in the beginning? Or, you know, according to the poll question, you know, is that an acceptable way to start things out? Cheryl Halsey said, you can sing. Now, see, that's how I know you a real fan. Because people don't be telling me that I can sing. But I appreciate you saying that. Cheryl, like, yo, that's my dude. You know what I mean? This is my show. And I'm going to make sure that my dude is confident at every turn. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Miss Halsey. I do. But yeah, so what do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? You know, if somebody presented you with this scenario right out the gate, like y'all don't even really know each other that well, you know, y'all are barely even in the talking stages. You know how we used to say, before you went with somebody, before you were going steady with somebody, before y'all were boyfriend and girlfriend, y'all was just talking, which means that y'all were feeling each other out. Y'all were talking on the phone, maybe seeing each other, maybe dating a little bit, trying to see if this thing had the chops to go somewhere. Y'all was just talking. We just talking, you know what I mean? No, that ain't my girl. Nah, that's not my man. We talking. We trying to put something together. Joe says, I'm feeling them guts out. Hey, I ain't mad at that. But nonetheless, you'll be talking first. Unless, of course, you meet a chick and then on the first night, you know what I mean? You just scored the biggest goal or touchdown that ever could be scored. You know what I mean? Perfect passer rating for you tonight. Perfect passer rating for you tonight, sir. But yeah, but Joe, let me ask you this. If you met a woman that was pleasing to your eyes and that you could see a future with, however way that plays out, if she asked you what you bring to the table, what would be your response? How would you handle that? Because there seems to be a lot of that going on nowadays. People asking, well, what do you bring to the table? Well, all right, let's talk about it. What do you bring to the table? What is there to the table to be brought? Because what a person is really asking you when they ask you what you bring to the table is, what can you do for me? How can you prove yourself to me? Like, I already think highly of myself. How can I think highly of you? So what you got, Joe? What you got, sound man? What you got? How would you handle that situation if somebody asked you what you bring to the table? Has anybody asked you that before? I can honestly say I've never been approached from that angle before. I don't know why, but then again, I do. Like, this ain't no show and tell. This ain't no swap meet. I'm not here to try to, first of all, I'm not out here tricking. So I'm not out here trying to make sure that you consider me to be worthy. I know who I am. I know what I am. And you know what I mean? And I think you'll do well to give this car a good test drive. But I could understand how some other men might get challenged to this question. And it seems like a lot of men are asking this of women. You know what I mean? Well, what do you bring to the table? Now, we talk about material things for real. When somebody asks you a question like, what do you bring to the table? They're asking about material things. They're not asking you if you bring love and affection and attentiveness and nurturing and maternal or paternal instincts. They're not asking you that. They're asking you how much money you make, what you have, what do you have in liquidity. Liquidity. Liquid. That's like money, cash. What can you exchange? California C says from the back door. From the back door? No. Jasmine says, hey, and nighttime greetings, son. How are things? How art thine Eve, kind sir? Yo, I'm feeling like a real man should. And I hope you feel like a real woman should as well. I'm glad that you came through. You said, that sounds like a pimp speech. Carla, my girl Carla. What's going on, ma? Good to see me some you. T. Carey Wright says, I've been asked and I've told what I bring. Really? So you thought enough of the person asking you and enough about the question to straight up answer that, huh? Okay. Well, I knew it was going on out here like that. I just knew that it hadn't visited me yet. As of the time of this posting, I have not been asked what I bring to the table. Now, I'm sure some man out there said, when asked what he brings to the table, he said, I bring big dick and bubble gum. And I'm fresh out of gum. Fresh out of gum. So I guess it's just going to have to be big dick. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Well, the title of the show is You Need a Job, a Car, and Your Own Place. What the hell? Fuck this whole time. Y'all let me write this title like I'm a dummy. And ain't nobody say nothing? First of all, it says you need a job, a car, and your own place. An own place has no space between it. And ain't nobody say nothing about my bad grammar. And how did I do that? That's the kind of shit that I clown people for. And here I am doing the same shit. I'm like, Omar, you're a dummy. Son's no fun. Son's no fun. He's a dummy. We're gonna work it out though. We're gonna work it out. My man Jay Sloan. Jay Sloan said that's exactly what I say. Big dick and bubble gum, baby, fresh out of gum. Oh man, I had some juicy fruit. Wrigley Spearmint, Bubble Yum, Big League Chew, Bazooka, Jawbreaker. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help. All right. Make sure y'all hit the like button, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. And yo, participate in the poll question, please. You know what I mean? People have been lazy with the poll questions lately. I'm like, my questions must be getting bad. I thought I was good. Okay, TK Wright says, yes, I don't usually answer, but I have answered it twice. So you remember the exact amount of times. Okay, cool. Jasmine says, LOL, I can bring the table and he will provide the tools necessary for me to sand the table down, put some new finish on it. And I don't know, maybe some decorations or something I don't know or something. I don't know. Okay. All right. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Carla says, you can get a big Dickerson from anywhere. That may be true and that may not be true. That may be true and it may not be true. Jason says, don't blame us for your poor English skills. Goes to show what a PSU education is hitting for. That school is clearly for dummies. Clearly. I wrote that shit like it was sweet. And let me tell it, I proofread it. Like, no, ain't nothing wrong with that shit. I'm looking dead at it. Like, you didn't notice that title had an alfalfa on it? Like, what do you mean alfalfa? You know, like alfalfa had that hair sticking straight up and down, like it ain't make no sense. That's what your title, the title of your show got. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. Penn State education. You big dummy. That no career, no money. Penn State education. You big dummy. No career, no money. Big, you big dummy. No career, no money. I said, you big dummy. Penn State, no money. Penn State education. You big dummy. That's why the football team went from the number 3 seed. I mean, the number 3 in the AP rankings to, let's just say, there won't be no bowl games this year. Because of my man, James Franklin, Penn State will be playing in the Tidy Bowl right after Thanksgiving. Maybe we could petition to play Grambling in the Southern Classic. Like Southern, sit this one out. Let us play Grambling. For old time's sake. All right, man. All right. Oakland, damn, where you been, my dude? My man Oakland in the house was good. Was good, son. You know what I'm saying? Been a minute. That's right, Punctuation Panther. Yeah, that's just I'm more like the Punctuation Pink Panther right now. You know how the Pink Panther never spoke. Then okay, all right. Yeah, Marvina Bigby says, so many users out there, you don't want to tell people what you can bring. Oh, wow. Well, I'm thinking that if y'all get to the point where y'all asking each other, like at what point do you ask somebody, what they bring to the table without observation? And is asking somebody what they bring to the table, is that the same as asking somebody what they're good for? Like, what are you good for? Like I've been observing you and I don't see shit. What do you do? You like Tommy for Martin. You ain't got no job. Like Tommy for Martin, you ain't got no job. You have no trabajo. You have no trabajo. No tengo trabajo, no tengo trabajo. TK right says, LOL, beat big dick energy and bubblegum. I hope nobody says that to me because then he'd have to prove it. Don't lie to me about having bubblegum, damn it. That's right. It's a lot of big dick motherfuckers out here stingy with gum. So I hear, internet be talking. They be talking. TK Wright says, people are asking right out the gate. Are they? Okay. Jason says, TK Wright, just make sure you never get in the van until they show you that they really got that bubble gum. the more you know. Yeah. Don't get in the van until you see the gum. Make sure it's not the dummy gum either. Like he showed me the dummy pack. Turns out it was just some now laters with some aluminum foil around them. He got me again. The baby be born around April. Anyway, so a job, a car, and your own place, is that asking a lot? Because to me, that just sounds like what the average adult should probably have. At least 2 out of the 3, right? No? A car, a job. Let me put it in. Let's rank them. A job, a car, and a house, or an apartment, your own place. I can't see a world where that's asking a lot. But I also am familiar with a world where some people may not have that, regardless of their age. In other words, some people don't drive. But if you've never had your own place and just as an adult, like, isn't that a little, I don't want to get all judgy tonight. But is requesting that somebody who wants to bed you down or be with you long term, is that asking a lot? Because they didn't say that you had to have a 6-figure job. They didn't say that. They didn't say that you have to own your own business and it has to be thriving. They didn't say that. They didn't say that you had to be whipping a foreign sports coupe, preferably somewhere foreign, like, coming out of Italy, Germany. Definitely not France. France got some funny looking cars. France has some funny looking cars. But yeah, they didn't say that. They just saying like, yo, you need a gig, because if you have a job, that shows that you have financial responsibility. And if you're the type of person that's able to keep a job, that shows a level of not only being responsible, but also of consistency. Because it's not easy to keep a job, especially a good one. So that means that you have good staying power, which is an attractive trait to many. And then your own place. Like, where we going, after this dynamite date that we're going to go on, where we going to go back to and do it? And please don't say in the back of the coupe. The foreign sports coupe, preferably coming out of Italy. Ferrari. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking that a woman in her 30s probably has children, probably is established, probably is working on solidifying her fortune or her future for her family. She probably is not interested in your first physical encounter being in the backseat of your car or at your cousin's house down his basement on a futon. At least your cousin had a finished basement though, right? Can't front on that. Nice. You got a whole full stock bar over there. It's nice. What your cousin do for a living? Maybe you should do what he do. But anyway. Okay. TK Wright says, yes, but the average adult is living and thinking differently these days. You ain't never lied about that. Jasmine says, that is the truest thing said this evening, Carrie, that is the truest thing said this evening, Carrie. It's almost empty. These production line jobs have got people speaking Amazon floor manager language. Wow. Marvina says, a man sent me a friend request. I got a message from Facebook that he was a possible summer asking people for money. Oh, a possible scammer asking people for money asking for money from people. That's the internet for you. Jasmine says, all right, fam. I made some late night tacos. Who's hungry? And it was Tuesday. In some places, it still is. Taco Tuesday. Who don't want a taco on a Tuesday? Yo, bring up the tacos. It's Tuesday. All right, cool. Sure, Halsey says, I agree, son. That's what's up. TK Wright says, on one hand, I feel like the question needs to be asked, just not using that wording. Well, how about just straight getting to know somebody? But I don't think that it's wrong for people to have requirements straight up and down. I don't think anything's wrong with that. Out the gate, this is what I need. And I'm not looking for you to give me anything. This is what I need you to have for yourself. Now, from a man's point of view, I could understand why he would want this for a woman that he wanted to be serious with or get serious with. Oh, damn. TK Right says, nothing like falling in love with a bum because you didn't ask. I smell fee fi fo fum. I smell the scent of an English bum that lives with his mum. He lives with his mum. He lives with his mum. 2 times. Go to work. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Well, from a man's point of view, I can understand why a man would require a woman that he wanted to be serious with out the gate these days to have a job, a car, and a home place. First of all, from my point of view, if she don't have a job, then that probably means she doesn't have a sustainable income, which means that early in the relationship, she's going to be in this man's pockets. I need a, I wanna, I need a, I wanna. So she's already going to be, if she don't have a job, she don't have a sustainable income, she's going to be sizing that man up to see how much he can spend on her. She might come up with bills for him to pay, emergencies for him, fires for him to put out and all that kind of shit. So I can understand a man wanting a woman to have a job. If she don't have a car, that probably means that Uber fees are going to be going through the roof. Damn, what the fuck? Hold on. Okay, there we go.
You have a call from
Troy.
Hey, yo!
What's happening?
Is this the one them cow?
It's the one them cow, the one them cow. It's the one them cow, the one them cow, the one them cow. Troy.
That's right.
The one them cow, the one them cow. What's happening, family?
Good luck.
Hey, man, look, well, I gotta look.
Hold on. Before you take off, let me just finish what I was saying.
Okay, my bad.
So, like I said, if she don't have a car, that probably means she's going to need rides to places. Laundromats, markets, school, recreational places, hospitals, whatever. You know what I mean? If she not whipping, you either going to be having to pick her up, drop her off all the time, or you're going to be paying Uber fees and nowadays, but before now, like in the past era, you was probably cabbing it or hacking it or whatever. So I could understand a man wanting a woman to have a job in a car. Home crib. If she don't have her own crib, that probably means that she's staying with somebody else and which means that she may not have the ability to have company. So when y'all going to see each other? Because she might not be able to stay out, or you might not be able to come through. The other thing is, if you have your own crib and she don't have her own crib, guess who she gonna be trying to probably quickly move in with? You. That's who. It might start off as a subtle suggestion. After y'all done the nasty a few times and she knows that you like it, she starts throwing around hints like, we could be doing this every night. If we only had a place to stay like you do. She started being like, I love waking up to you. I love going to bed and waking up to you. It'd be making my day. I wish I could do it every single day. So yeah. And if she's living with somebody else, or she don't have her own place, she might be paying rent to somebody else, and she might expect you to pay that shit. Help out, or rescue her. Yeah. So I should just, stay at your house. That way I wouldn't have to put up with all of these stupid rules over here at this place where I'm staying. We could do this move this weekend. A lot of my stuff is already over there, right? So, yeah. So, I could understand a man wanting these requirements or requiring these three things as a springboard, as a foundation. Even if he don't want nothing else, he might say, well, listen, this is just your ticket to ride. We can get everything else popping after this, but I need this. This is just the entrance fee. What up, double-edged logic? Double-edged logic says that sounds like a girl, not a woman. Every woman is a girl. Every girl ain't a woman though. My man Buana Haguski, what's going on, my dude? What up? All right, Troy, what you got for me, man? What I got? What got for me?
What's the blood clock? You want to bumble with Big T, huh? So it hex on the whole family.
Oh man.
What's up, Miss Wright? Jay, Wanda, Carla, Cheryl, to the family. I miss y'all, man. Hugs, high fives, kisses, all that good stuff. Thanksgiving coming. I want my plate. Y'all can just take a picture and post it somewhere so I can pick it up off the Instagram or something. Bro. I think I know you couldn't wait because you all summer the polo shirts was banging, but you couldn't wait for the weather break. So that shirt on you had on last night, bro. I said this motherfucking shirt is the balk.
Well, I
wish I could have yanked that shit off of you to put that shit on, bro.
Macy's was acting like they didn't want to send me that shirt.
Well, Macy's said you shouldn't put it on your front step.
No. They didn't send this shit. And it was another shirt, another button down that they didn't send. And they talking about something, it's out of stock. I was like, how was it out of stock when I ordered it? Y'all didn't send it to me. How was it out of stock? So it was like, all right, look, we're going to refund the button down, but you still want the other joint? I said, hell yeah, the fuck I want it. This lying ass app saying it's already been delivered. Y'all know y'all ain't delivered that shit. They ain't even try to say that they delivered it. They said, the tracking said it'll be there today. Like, That was on the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't deliver that bitch until yesterday.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's how
I
that
know
went.
one thing. That motherfucker was banging last night, bro.
Appreciate that.
You're not just a polo. You're not just Ralph Lauren. You're the polo teddy bear. Sure. So when the teddy bear take off the damn top when the teddy bear mascot take it off, your face underneath that bastard. Damn, you a polo catalog. And here we have Sun 752 wearing his white and burgundy ensemble of a shirt.
You will get to the topic tonight.
Yeah, I am now, man, because I have to keep talking about that shirt. I was like, God damn it, I have to keep going back to the damn show. The shirt fucking
So I'm here for the shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know all that shit you talking about. Nobody care about that shit. Give me the UPC number.
Yeah, man. The topic tonight, man. I think things are required. You should require certain things from anybody that you want to deal with. But I think out of everything, I don't think that the materialistic things like having a home and this, that, and other is the most important thing. I think everything else, you have to get to know that person first. Because if you just sitting back worrying about you having a car or having a house or having, a job, all that, you can have all that and treat you like shit. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get to know that person first. I'd rather know, do you have a heart? Do you give a fuck? Do you have any type of sympathy and empathy or caring? Do you know how to love? Do you know how to show respect? We can. I mean, if you have one of the three, that's good. You have two of the three. You got all three, that's good. But I need to know other aspects of who you are as a female. Can you be an 80? I'm not looking for 100. Can you be an 80? I don't want a 20. You know what I mean? Because if I got a 20, that means I got to do more than I need to do. I think that even if you do have a 20, you can build off a 20, especially if that person has potential. But I can respect what everybody says in the chat that everybody is saying. But I think that there's other aspects that you have to be concerned about, because everything else can fall into place. That person might have just got a divorce and lost half her ass in that damn divorce. So she has to start over. She might be living with her mom for certain reasons, or her mom might be living with her. So I mean, there's other aspects. The same thing with a man. But see, the difference is that when it comes to certain things, men are held accountable more than women. You a man and you ain't got this.
But on this show, in this scenario,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
This is not gender specific,
right?
Yeah, I do, but it doesn't. It just doesn't apply with this. A lot of dudes these days,
and that's the thing I respect about it, because it has to you making it go both ways. It's not just one person. It has to go both ways. Because we put certain women put men on a pedestal of what they should have, but don't. Like a woman will frown upon a man being on a bus and she's on a bus with him. What the fuck? How you riding a damn bus? Well, how you doing? Good morning on the bus.
Yeah, but there are people who ride public transportation because they don't want to. Let's say you work downtown. You don't want to drive your car downtown. You know what I mean?
True.
The parking fees be killing you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of people commute, to save money. But nonetheless, like the stuff you was talking about, I want to see where their heart is, blah, 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 blah. How long does it take for all of those things to manifest themselves? How long will you have to know a person before you can assess where their heart is, where their feelings are, or how decent they are?
Well, you can. I don't think it should take long because sometimes you should be able to read that person as you talk to them. It could take a month or two. Shouldn't take no more than. I mean, shit. Give it about 5 6 months if you could. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. So 5 6 months. That's a good little while. So
well, I'm saying if you could, but roughly it shouldn't take that long. You should honestly be able to read that person within the first couple of weeks. You should know that person.
In what way?
A person will show themselves to you within the first couple of weeks.
Now I've known people who know how to hold their cards pretty well.
Yeah,
because they read you and they know what you're looking for, so they just emulate that shit that that they know you looking for. Like if a chick know that you like chicks with big titties, she stuff her bra, you know what I mean, or pat her ass if you like a fat ass. I've seen it done.
Oh no, well, I mean, let's see. Well, society is making it more beneficial for women to do that. I mean, you walk the street, you see it everywhere you go. But at some point in time, you're going to know the fake, the phoniness fine. Because if y'all go to be intimate, you got to take that shit off.
Well, what I'm saying, but the whole my okay, what I'm trying to say is that when we talk about somebody requiring somebody else to have a job, a car, and their own place, those are things that they might want up front, along with all of the more redeeming qualities that they may have. This just may be the foundation. Like I couldn't be mad at a woman 35 years old saying, listen, if a man want to be with me, this is what he need. If he don't have this at 35 or older, he don't need to be, because
I agree.
Because I'm out here, she might be out here really getting it. Now she might not be trying to be like no independent woman or being disrespectful to anybody or whatever, but she might be saying like, listen, I'm serious out here. I got kids. I got a career. You know what I mean? I'm doing things, and I want somebody that's at least they don't have to match me, but they gotta have these things. Just like you can't get into the movies without a ticket. What is their ticket? We can see about popcorn, jujubes, and soda caps and Raisinets when we get in there, if we want that. But in order to get into the movies, you gotta have a ticket. Same thing with a concert, any show, you gotta have a ticket. So her ticket might be like, nah, you need car, house, and job. I didn't say how much money you had to make. I said you have to have a job, because I know if you have a job, then I know you're responsible, especially if you've been on a job for a minute. So I'm gonna do it just like HR. I'm looking for gaps in your employment. What's up with that? You ain't working 5 minutes. I'm 5 years. Well, what you doing? You got your own business? You a hustler? How was your hustle? Because if you're a good hustler, your hustle should mimic your work, the work ethic of a 9 to 5, or better, actually. Because there's no limit to how much you can make. Your overtime is your real time. So I could understand her, saying like, no, I'm not going to be with a man who don't have no job or don't have no steady income or whatever. I could understand that. I could respect it. Now, the car thing might be negotiable, because as long as he can arrange a way to be able to transport himself effortlessly or without a whole bunch of without a whole lot of problems, all right, she might excuse the car thing. But the crib thing, like, I know he don't think I'm going to be running around his mom house with my cuckoo out. Because when I'm with a man and I like him a lot, I let the cuckoo out free.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
So if he don't have no place for the cuckoo to come out, or if he always got to come over my crib for the cuckoo, Like, what man is going to be happy with that arrangement? Because I don't want to be, and maybe she don't want to be with a man who's happy with that arrangement. You know? So I can see how some might feel some kind of way about it, but I can also see how some people say, well, yeah, for a full-fledged adult, yeah, that's not a lot. If I was a college kid, like, this might be a lot.
You know, I mean, it takes me out because I like the way how you just came up with another version, a name for vagina, cuckoo. You know, so many names for it. I never really heard the word cuckoo. You know, beautiful sentence.
Well, cuckoo. The coo is short for coochie, and the cuckoo is known to be a crazy bird, and you might go batshit if the shit right. You just might. The cuckoo. Cuckoo. Cuckoo, 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 ding dong, cuckoo, ding dong, cuckoo. Yeah, it might be time for some cuckoo.
What you just said, it makes a lot of sense, and I can respect that. You know, I can respect that. But like I was saying, you know, I like to get to know that person and all that. Because I hate when a person says, yeah, she got it. You look at the person, like, man, she's nice and shit, blah, 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 blah. But you turn around and you be like, what the fuck is the next part? You know what I mean? Who she live with? Who she doing this with? Who she doing that with? You know what I mean? Do she got a car? Like you said, you have to run down those aspects. But nobody never seems to understand that there's other aspects of just having more than just car, job, you know, and, you know, a place to put your own place. You know, so I mean, but I can respect, like I said, I respect everything you just said and everybody in the chat saying, you know, there's no dispute around it, but there has to be more towards it.
Yeah.
You know,
like I said, this might just be somebody's ticket to get in.
That's just the work. That's just the beginning.
This is the foundation.
That's to get you to jump in the rope. The rope, as the rope.
No rope, no rope, no rope. No.
I'll take the rope.
No.
I'm sorry, so.
No. But anyway, but this job, car, crib thing goes both ways. And that's what we have to make sure that we don't forget. This is not a one-way street. This is not, no, the man has to have this. No, a man might say, no, I need this woman, like I gave the example before. Like, yeah, he might say, no, I need her to have this too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to overshadow my woman, whatever, but I need her to be as responsible as I am. Because if you're 30 years old, 35 years old, there's a good chance you might not be finished having children.
Yeah, but you know what takes me out, son? Women are so straightforward with what they want a woman. I'm talking about, like, a woman would say, I want a man. The first thing, you would never hear a woman say, I need a motherfucker that got a Big Johnson, or, you know, that's in shape. You wouldn't hear that in the beginning. The things that we're discussing right now is something that a woman would say. Now, like, I think 85% of men would be like, I need to have a big ass, some nice size titties, some good pussy. You know, that's what men look for. You know what I mean?
Men look for that. Men look for the physical.
There you go.
Initially,
yeah.
After that first day, a man is not just looking for the physical. Not me.
Well, some men look for the physical, and it's not after that first day. It's after they hit. After they hit, they be like, now I got to see what else is about.
Well, it depends on the man.
Right.
Because some men.
I'm not saying all men are like that.
Yeah. No. The demographic that you are describing exists. Yeah. You know what I mean? There are a lot of men who fuck first, you know, ask questions later and all of that. But there comes a time when you can't play it like that no more.
That's what, right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know, and during your 20s, you might play it exactly that way. Because the stakes seem a little lower. I mean, because you still a baby boy. You playing. But when you start getting to the point where, you know, you building families, not having families or starting, you're building them.
Mm-hmm.
You start thinking about your genetic profile. You know, because many men think about the kind of woman that they want to have kids by, or if they start thinking like, yeah, for example, all of these niggas out here that think it's cool to be messing around with studs and dykes and, you know what I mean, chicks that's bisexual and all of that shit, they think it's sweet. They think it's cool. Yeah, all right. It's cool until you have a son with them, and that son wants to do nothing but be the one turning double dutch, playing with the dials, and wants an easy bake oven. It's all fun and games till you realize, like, oh shit, it really is the inside that matters. You start thinking about your genetic profile, and this is where genetic engineering really comes in. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that you figure if you hook up with somebody who's a doctor, you're going to have some intelligent ass kids who probably know how to really, really study, focus on their career and whatever task that they perform, and are going to go somewhere in life. It don't just happen for it. It's not just for doctors. That's for plumbers, engineers, electricians, carpenters, fucking. I don't care if it's customer service. You get to thinking about, like, when you really start thinking about your future. You all of that fat ass and big titty shit. All right, that's cool, man. You already brought that to the table. I saw that before I even spoke to you. I need to know what else you got. I'm not asking that you have a whole lot more than me. And I'm not asking you to compete with anybody else out there, but I need to know that you can do A, B, C, or that you can provide A, B, and C. Just like if you a man who likes home cooked meals, and you get with a chick that says that she don't cook and she's not interested in learning how to. How valuable are those big titties and that fat ass now? Now some niggas is going, you know, just go ahead and do it anyway. Like, well, fuck it, I'll get her some cookbooks. I mean, she's just fronting. She ain't fronting.
Well, so let me just elaborate on my big sister, Miss Rice, because she said I was delusional. I wasn't saying that women don't do that. What I am saying is that when a woman is looking at a man or she's with her friends, you know, let's put it like this: when a man takes a woman out and he tells his bull, he shows a picture of the female he's dealing with. He takes that bull out. The first thing when he talks to his bull, the first thing the bull asks, "Yo, you hit?" Now, when a woman takes a man out, and the woman girlfriend see her again after she shows a picture of the man, the first thing she asks is, "What kind of car he got? He got his own crib? Where he work at?" So 9 times out of 10, there's a different scenario of how women judge men opposed to how we look at women. We look at the outer shell. We don't really. What attracts everybody is the outer shell of a person. But 9 times out of 10, a woman is going to ask something different. They're asking about, because they want to know if this boy can facilitate a dream. Can he do the right thing by me? Whereas those men is like, look, we go off of what we see, the outer shell, off that attraction. So I'm not delusional that women are not like. I'm not saying that women don't look at that aspect. But what I am saying is that they're more entwined with facilitating a dream and being provided for, or being at least on the same level as that man, or that man being on the same level as them. If anything, that's a compliment to women. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of women looks at certain things within men. Whereas though us men, we look at the outer shell and the first thing we want to say was, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to hit, or we want to get to know you on a different level. The outer shell is beautiful, but I like to get to know what's inside before anything. But
it's possible, Troy. It's possible that both of y'all are more right than wrong, but
right.
but y'all might be speaking about a different demographic. Like you're speaking from a demographic of and knowledge base that you are familiar with, and so is she.
See, Gary, you are never disrespectful, sis. I love you as a sister, so you would never come off disrespectful to me. When we talk amongst each other. We can have conversations. You would never come off disrespectful. So, with that being said, no, I respect what you said. And I'm just explaining myself to you because I don't want you to think that I'm looking at women as not. There's other aspects to women. If anything, like I said, it's more of a compliment than anything because us as men, we looking at something that's not. We're looking at the person, whereas y'all looking at from facilitating certain situations within that relationship. As soon as y'all see it, but y'all do look at the person. Y'all not just gonna say, "I'm gonna talk to this ugly guy," or "I'm gonna talk to this guy I'm not attracted to."
Wait a minute. I've known women. On some real shit. I've known women to attack a man from a lot of different angles. I've known women who really only concentrate on the physical part of a man. Like I've known women who get played mostly because all they really cared about was the optics. How good he looked, how he presented himself. Sometimes, whether her girlfriends really like the dude and shit like that. I mean, chicks have gotten caught out there too. Men are not the only gender out there that choose women physically. Women choose physically too. They just have to. But the thing is, because women are also so often tasked with being the ones that have to be the head of households nowadays, they have to think on a more futuristic level. They can't just, most women are not able to stop at the physical part or let that be the meat instead of the potatoes. They have to incorporate more of what a man is doing than men might have to do when it comes to women. Because like I said, the stakes are higher. She might already have a child or two or whatever. So, like just because this man, look good or he work out or he has a nice face or he got wavy hair or braids or whatever the fuck she like, that ain't doing nothing around here. She might not be looking for him to pay her bills, but she may be looking for him to set a decent example. She might have a son.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, or an impressionable daughter. So yeah, mommy can't be saddled up with no bum. The kids ain't gonna forget that, and neither is mommy. So y'all might be very correct, both of y'all, but demographically, you're speaking from what you know and what you've seen, and she's doing the same. But y'all have to understand that you're going to probably have to incorporate both theories somewhere along the line. Neither one of y'all is wrong. The thing is, you can't speak for all men. She can't speak for all women. You know what I mean? Because I've known dudes. I've known dudes who really don't go for the pussy very fast. I've known dudes that, I mean, I'm like, damn, this dude, you know what I mean? I used to, and this is when I was in my 20s. Like, yeah, some dudes don't rush in. And those guys are like, you know, they're looking more for a monogamous situation and maybe a deeper situation. It works out the way it works out, but you know, and I mean, that's not to say that they don't get somebody who's really cute, but you know, they experience things how they experience. Hold on a second.
You have a call from
Caller with the last number is 0178. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. What's on your mind tonight, this evening?
Yo, what's up, son?
Feeling like a real man should. You already know. What's up with you?
I'm grand. I ain't got no complaints.
Well, no complaints. You've come to the right place.
Hey.
You know what I mean? You might need to pick up some complaints over here. We got some. Yo, move that box. Bring that box over here. I got some complaints I gotta give out. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm gonna give some complaints out to the 9th caller.
Don't bring me no bad news. I don't want no complaints. So I was listening to what you're saying. Hello?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I think that overall, the ideology of this culture that's pumped, and even for the youth nowadays with this whole high value man, high value woman. When I was younger, they kind of trained you to kind of look at each other like objects. Like women are trained and conditioned in certain ways to look at men as only money, and men are often trained or socialized in our culture to look at women kind of like as sex objects.
Mm.
And I'm just speaking about the culture alone, not when you've done self-evaluation and begin to understand what you like aside from what you've been programmed to like, and to value people outside of what you've been programmed to value people outside. So the culture will teach us very transactional relationships through songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you're young, you tend to go off the base, only, you know, what your eyes see. And some men do it, some women do it, like you say. But they go off of what they see physicality, what draws them, which a certain amount of attractiveness is okay, but that's kind of relative depending on who's looking, because beauty is really in the eyes of the beholder. Something that can look good to me don't necessarily look good to you, right? But the real, true, intrinsic value is what's on the inside of that person. Because at the end of the day, like you were saying, when all of that beauty washes away, and we know that as handsome as a man is, as beautiful as a woman is, as they get older, that stuff it maintains, but it still gets cracks and wrinkles in it, because this is the nature of life. It's the cycle of life. Mm-hmm. So what is it in that person that truly holds the glue together? Like, okay, if that woman may not know how to cook, but is she contentious and egregious and downright non-teachable? Would she be is she valuable to you in other ways? And would she be open to learn, like you said, take a cookbook, learn a cook class, because you know that's what your partner, your guy likes, and he's presenting himself of value within your life. And when I speak about value, I don't speak about the crap that the world is talking about, a six value man, because they put money on emphasis on his money and not the true value on the inside. Like, does he know how to communicate? Do he have good leadership qualities? If he began to work through or at least recognize some of his trauma, or what? How is he emotionally? And same as a woman. Is she a little bit emotionally stable? Is she not so stubborn where she know how to listen and let a word in? She not so prideful. She can take accountability. These are the things that really matter. And not to say money doesn't, but it's not to be put all on the value of money, because that's not where you place your value. That's not high value. That man have all that money, but he can misuse and mistreat a woman. And the more access he has to women, the more sometimes women are looked upon as just sexual objects. So that's my spiel.
Well, see, here's the thing. That high value man shit, that all came from Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels came out, with the high value man shit, and a bunch of sucker niggas, a bunch of bum ass niggas went for it, hook, line, and sinker, because a bunch of men were disgruntled and pissed off and scorned because they had got with chicks before and that didn't treat them right, that didn't show them love, and they also didn't really know how to. They might have known how to catch them, but they didn't know how to keep them. You know what I mean? And that's when that's part of the reason on the internet, this whole high value man shit, this conversation is still going on, because Kevin Samuels died 2-3 years ago, and people and unfortunately he was a guide for a lot of these dudes out here, and a lot of these podcasters are still trying to duplicate him. But yeah, and he did a lot to foster the idea of men only, bringing money to the table, and I mean, a lot of stuff that he talked about just wasn't true. Like saying that a so-called high value man, which only means it didn't have nothing to do with his education. It had nothing to do with how decent of a person he was, or how real of a man he was. It meant that he was getting a certain amount of money, and that was his value. And he would say that a high value man is not going to want a woman who has 3 kids by 3 different baby fathers and is thick or overweight and all that kind of shit. I'm like, you want to meet some people I know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because a man will make a woman into anything that he needs her to be through his image, if he want her bad enough. So he could be making 7 figures, and she could be making EBT figures. He don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of things will be dependent upon the energy that they exchange with each other. So, I never agreed with him and others on that premise. But when we're talking about, having requirements before you decide to go forward with somebody, even though for the title of this show, we're talking about a job, a car, and a crib. It could be you may have your own individual requirements that may include some of the things in the title, and it may not. But nonetheless, I think it needs to be respected that you've at least thought about this shit, instead of just willy-nilly thinking like, well, if I meet somebody and maybe they're nice, then, maybe we can do something or whatever. I don't think there's anything wrong with setting your own stage. It doesn't necessarily mean that nobody else can become a production manager and change the stage around. But, at least you have your stage. There's nothing wrong with having structure. Nothing wrong with that at all. And there's no reason to apologize for that. Dating now. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say dating now is so much different because of the internet. There are a lot of people who date from the internet who don't admit that that's what they do. They don't admit it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a real part of people's lives now, social media and all of that. You can't act like that shit doesn't exist or that only certain people do it now. You just can't. It's a real part. So you have to adjust with the times that are evolving, and with that adjustment, you may adjust your requirements. Doesn't mean that you won't have requirements. It just means that you may open your mind up a little bit. Maybe somebody help you with that. I yield.
It's nothing wrong with standards and requirements. And I think as we age, we kind of gain that. Some of us who can mature in that area, and there are some of us who don't recognize our patterns in that area. But I think we grow and we learn from past experiences in other relationships, what may have worked and what may have not. And it's nothing wrong with having those standards and requirements as long as they are not delusional. I tend to think that I don't typically ask people for more than what I can give to them. I don't go like, well, you got to take care of me or you got to do this. Because there are a lot of ways when you think about the umbrella of taking care of each other and caring for each other. There are so many ways and so many different elements and levels to that. It's not just a black and white, pay my bills. You know, I'm gonna respond. What are you doing before you meet a guy or a woman to take care of yourself because you're an adult, right? So what are you doing to take care of yourself in the meanwhile before you meet that man or that woman? You've been taught or trained to be an adult, right? So you typically know how to pay your own bills. Now, if someone comes along and they choose to help you or lessen your load, that's a blessing and grace that they give, but they're not definitely expected to do that because life is not as traditional as it was back in the 40s and the 60s where the roles were a certain kind of way. And nowadays, when inflation, income ain't no joke. So you typically, with two people in one household, if they got kids, you still barely making ends meet. So I don't look at being so traditionally, whereas you got to just take care of me. I'm fine and Prince like that. I got it like that. It's so many different ways. Like, do you know how to take care of each other emotionally or care for each other? Do you know how to, if I'm a little ill, do you know what to give me anti-inflammatory? Do you know how to be nurturing to me in certain ways? Mm-hmm. You know what? Do I know how to do that for you? It's and not to negate money because money is a tool, but how can we use that money where both me and you can benefit as opposed to just feeding delusional behavior? You get what I'm saying? Or a delusional thought pattern. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense or not?
Yeah, I get it.
So I think that sometimes people have delusional expectations because of the internet. And again, that's training them. The culture is training them again to think in a pattern in a way that's not their own when it comes to date. Back in the 90s, we used to kick the bobos. I tell people, man, we used to just kick it. It wasn't all about sex. It wasn't all about this. But you find now people are very transactional. We used to just go out, hang around Pizza Hut, eat, kick it. That's when Pizza Hut had the salad bar. Kick it, and guys would talk, women would rap. We call it rapping. Now it's just everything is so transactional. It's not really about learning the person. People are just so, what are you gonna do for me? How can you take, what can you do for me? What can you do? This is the attitude that the culture is taking now. So I don't know. Is very much so different. That's why I speak about what people are being conditioned and downloading from the internet. And is that necessarily healthy if you don't have a filter or you don't know how to think for yourself? And that's how Kevin Samuels claimed so many souls, because again, these brothers were hurt, like you said, and they were looking for a place to find comfort, and that created the red pill culture. But again, these babies, they don't have a lot of filter. They don't have a lot of experience to go off of. They don't have a lot of filter. They may not have people in their life that's teaching them, because dating was never that.
That's true.
I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah, go ahead, Troy.
Well, that's what I was saying. Well, like with my daughters, the one thing I tried to teach all my daughters, right, was, I want y'all to be able to establish yourself, do what you got to do to put yourself in a position that at the end of the day, you don't need no man. You don't need a man for anything but companionship. That way you can get the right man. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you have all your ducks in a row and everything is going the way that you want them to, and you establish yourself, when a man lets you down, the only way they can let you down is through something else other than financial needs, because you have your own finances. So those are the decisions that you make on your own. But when you go into a relationship and you have other situations that you sitting back saying to yourself, well, I need a man that can do this for me. I need a man that can do that for me. Money, or this, that, and other. No, when you just got, that's what fogs up everything. But when it's just about you, and it's just about you and companionship, and that man treating you right, does he have a good heart? Does he have this? Does he have other aspects? Then you're on that lane. You're in a different level in life. There's nothing wrong with it. And when that man does for you, he's doing because he wanted to do for you, not because you asking him to. And that's the difference. It has nothing, and I, like I said, I agree with everything that's been said in the chat. I agree with everything you said, son. But at the end of the day, and Marvin, you said it perfectly. What you said, perfectly. She said, a man with a good job and a good heart is gold. Perfectly.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, both things are subjective because, I mean, what a good job might mean or might be to you might be different than what it might mean or be to me or anybody else. So, but we have to keep those things in mind. We're talking about foundational things that people might require in order for them to even consider getting into this thing. And I don't think that it's unreasonable to have requirements that you stick by.
It's not.
Just like just like if you said, like if a woman said, there's no way I'm dating a man that sells drugs. I'm not doing that. Like nobody's gonna balk at that, except maybe somebody who sells drugs. But for the most part, nobody is going to frown on that. But I think it's curious that you see frowns when, if a woman says, well, nah, I don't want to deal with no man who don't have no job. Sorry. Why the fuck would I want to deal with a man who don't have no job?
I ain't mad at her for saying that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, me either. But the way
there's nothing wrong with that. He's a bum if he ain't got no job. If he ain't doing enough for himself in that area. Now, he ain't necessarily got to have a quote-unquote CEO job, but be working. Do something. Bring in some income. Because if you ain't got no income as a man and you out here dating, you shouldn't even be dating. Because at the end of the day, you looking for a woman to take care of you.
I'm gonna tell y'all something that I know to be true. Men who get up off their ass and go to work every day consistently don't have as many problems with their women as men who don't. Men who make a lot of excuses or who act like they don't want to work, they have problems with their women. And those problems going to persist. Cause listen, man. I'll tell you.
You sitting around the house too damn long. Get away. Go away.
Listen.
That's what the 8 hours. Get away. Give them space.
Listen. I've known women that was mad just because they didn't have to get up just because they man didn't have to get up the same time that they got up. Like let's say they work different shifts. Maybe she worked first shift and he worked second. So when she get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and he still he ain't even go to bed till like 2, 3 in the morning. Some women feel some kind of way about that. Like, I gotta get up, early, fight the morning rush hour with traffic. And look, he just sleeping like a baby. She pissed off, and this man ain't irresponsible at all. He ain't gotta be to work till 3, 4.
This motherfucker sleep.
Yo, and she dead pissed at him. So how you think she feel? How you think she gonna feel if she gotta get her ass up and go to work and deal with co-workers and managers and supervisors and executives and owners and all of that shit, and he home chilling?
Ain't gotta do nothing.
She wouldn't give a shit if he was working from home. He get to be home all day. Can go to the store, eat ice cream,
play the video games.
You know what I mean?
Wake the fuck up and clean. Make sure I got to the damn car and start the car up and shit. He just gonna sleep in the damn bed.
That motherfucker took a vacation day, didn't tell the job. Oh shit. Hold on. The call just dropped. The app just crashed. Hold on. We gonna get it back. We going get it back. We going get it back. We coming back. Yeah. What I was about to say was, you know what I mean? You got say he put a scarecrow. He put a scarecrow with a He put a scarecrow on a Zoom call, on his professional Zoom call. Motherfucker wasn't even at the call. He wasn't even on the call. Put a damn scarecrow on this shit. Hold on. All right.
You have a call from
Troy.
My bad, Troy. The app crashed. Yeah, big motherfucking app crashed.
No problem.
But yeah, I was saying like yeah, the boy home. You know what I mean? He went somewhere and did whatever he wanted to do. He put a scarecrow in front of the computer on a Zoom call. I can't. She mad because she can't do that shit. He working from home. Might be even making more money than her, sitting on his ass at the crib. At least that's how she look at it, because she mad. You know what I'm saying? So
I know one thing. No, she'll be like, I know one thing. There better be some clothes washed, and the house better be clean.
Shit.
And the dishes better.
Shit, if I'm working from home, I ain't better do a motherfucking thing. You know what I mean? And you don't tell me what to do. You paying me? Show me where your name is on my check. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you better go there. Go take your ass over to your little 9 to 5. You know what I mean? That little petty money you bringing into this house. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Your little punk ass 9 to 5 money. You know what I mean? Tell real niggas work from home. Say I'm in the crib clocking six figures close to 7. And you going to work all day, every day with your little 5-figure salary. Let me get some pocket money. You need some lunch. Let me cash app you about 500.
Just for one of you stupid.
But yeah, there's nothing wrong with having requirements, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? I just think that some people just get bent out of shape or getting their feelings about, why would you get bent out of shape or getting your feelings about somebody having requirements or expectations, especially if the expectations are rooted in something realistic or something decent. Now, and now sometimes expectations or requirements can push the limits of what may be acceptable to some or fair to some. Like, for example, just like we could say, you need a job, you need a car, you need a crib. So I've met women before that had requirements that I couldn't live up to. Like I remember I met this chick once, and I met her on the street. She was cute, dark skinned, had a real fat ass and all that shit. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, this is it right here. And she was like, so what's your religion? And I said, When I say that the record scratched real quick, because she said if you don't go by John 3:16, then we have nothing to talk about. I was like, you serious? She was like, I mean, I am serious. I said, okay. Like that shit started off hot, and that match blew out quick. So what am I going to do? Act like I don't have nothing against Christians or nothing like that. But even if she was a Muslim and would have said the same thing, I'm like, nah, we not doing that. Because that's not something that I'm going to build a foundation off of. But I can't be mad at you if that's what you require. That's your life, that's your world, those are your standards. I ain't mad at it. But I couldn't. We gotta be like, damn. So you mean to tell me just because I haven't accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, we can't get together? You must not like lobster and steak. But anyway, she must have been a Seventh-day Adventist or something. It's like, no, I'm just playing. But but yeah. And so people have their own standards. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at that at all.
There's nothing wrong with that. Standards, there's nothing wrong with standards. I say nothing wrong with them as long as they're not delusional. But I can't even say that because delusional for some is their standard, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. You can't be mad at a person for wanting what is good for them. It's nothing wrong with having a requirement, especially if you can meet those requirements. And that's just what you choose. I tell people that some women get mad because some men like women of a different color or a different complexion or a different race. How you gonna get mad at him because that's his preference? That's what he wants. That's his choice. He got one life to live. Go get you somebody that like what you want, what you are.
Mm. Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways we can go with this thing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just don't see anything wrong with, laying out your preferences out front. Now, to be fair, some people put their requirements out there to try to gain a controlling advantage up front. You know what I mean? So if you adhere to their requirements up front, that's basically like a surrender. You've already kind of copped out. Like for example, like let's say if a woman said to a man, if you want to be with me, I got bills to pay. You got to be willing to, to contribute quickly. Well, if he does it, okay. Now that's their agreement. And as long as both of them are okay with it, fine. But if that man goes for that, you already know what it's hitting for up front. Because she's probably not interested in you as a person, you as a man. She already laid the foundation out that this is a transactional type of situation, just like caller with the last numbers 0178 was talking about. It's totally, as long as two people are okay with the transaction, I'm okay with it too. But when you enter a transactional situation and you really aren't interested in being consistent with the transaction, then you're going to have problems. Because they told you what this was hitting for, what it was about. You chose to ignore. Okay. Now you're about to get reintroduced. My name is Hove.
And sometimes people do that. They enter in knowing what it was. Same reverse like with a man and with a woman and with a man, and he say, "Look, I ain't looking for no relationship. I'm kind of just out here cruising. I'm looking for a homie lover friend." A woman understand that, but still go in thinking that she can change him from what his expectations are and what his standards and requirements was in the very beginning. It's nothing wrong with being honest and upfront with people, but don't go into a situation knowing that it was just that. And then once you have these type of attachments, then you expect something else. So just like that brother that initially went in knowing that it was a transaction because the sister was honest, don't go in expecting her to really be caring for your feelings like that when you knew what it was. Money for sex. It is what it is. It exists on all levels. So don't try to turn the apple into a grape.
You know, like when I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking about it, right? Because you brought up homie, lovely friend, and I thought about the song, right? And it takes me out because I was thinking about two songs. Like a woman comes in with the song, nothing from nothing, leave nothing. You got to have something. If you want to be with me, she said, no romance without finance. You got to have a J-O-B. Now, that's what a woman coming with. A man coming with, you must be used to me spending and all that sweet wine and dining. I'm fucking you to. It's plain and simple. The song be speaking for itself. You know what I mean? And it's sad, but when you're dealing with certain individuals, right? Having boundaries and having expectations of that person is beautiful. You know, and sometimes you have to, when you don't set the table right, when you first start off, it gets worse as you go along in your relationships. I've learned that. You have to set the table right. You have to make sure everything is on the table. You can't forget nothing. And as time goes on, you have to grow and then buy some more dishes and reset the table again. Because as you get older and you mature more, you grow more. So the table got to be reset again. It's all about communicating. But in the beginning, you know, I have no problem with what anybody saying in the chat or what we're saying. There's no argument in facts here because everything based off of opinion or how that person feels. You know, but at the end of the day, there's a reality to what we're talking about. You know, there's a reality to all of it. You know, so.
Yeah.
What's one of y'all requirements? As you've aged and redone things a couple times around the sun, what's one of your requirements, son, and what's one of your requirements, young man? What's your name? The other
Troy.
guy in the chat?
Troy.
Troy, what's one of your requirements?
Go ahead, you go first, son.
My requirements are actually what the show title is. No bullshit. And I've had those requirements since I was in my 20s, and I don't fuck around.
Okay. Troy, yours.
And hold on. And I also want to say, anytime I didn't require those things, I got bit in the ass.
Okay.
Well, my requirement.
And another thing is, no, I'm just saying, go ahead.
My requirements is not all three, but it can be one of the three. You know, preferably a job. Preferably a job. We can grow together with everything else. You know, there must be a reason why you're staying with your mom, or the car situation can be worked out, but we can grow with each other. But a job is an expectation for me because with the job and a good heart, like Ravina said, I can deal with that. I can deal with the heart and the job, and we can grow together as individuals or as a team, opposed to you just not having nothing. You know, all three don't have to be the end all and be all.
Okay.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, of course, there are physical attributes that I look for too. But yeah, the three things in the title are the more important things because those things deal with life.
What you say the physical attributes are?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this.
I'm
I want to say this. I will go for 2 out of the 3. I have gone for 2 out of 3. Like, the car thing is negotiable. The job thing is not negotiable.
Right.
That's not negotiable. And the crib, I'll do 2 out of the 3. But one out of the 3 has to be the job part. Because Troy is right. There can be reasons why you don't have your own place. But because I was a landlord for years, I'm like, nah, you can get your own place. You know what I mean? And unless you live in New York, in which case you are used to the high ass rent, there's no reason why you shouldn't have your own place. You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing my parents always stressed was make sure you got a roof over your head. I don't give a fuck what you do out. Yeah, I mean, you can concentrate on diamonds on your hands, gold around your neck, and sneakers on your feet and all that kind of shit. You make sure you take care of that roof over your head. I don't care if you don't have no lights on. I don't care if you don't have no water running. I don't care if you don't have no heat. You make sure that you got the roof, because you can get all of those other things in time. You can get help with all of them. But you gotta have that roof over your head. And any adult should be able to handle that, for real. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, shit, what else you gonna do? Where you gonna put your kids at? As far as the other physical attributes, everybody knows what I like. That's never been a secret.
Carrie Wright, you know, she said, Carrie Wright said it right. She said, Troy, you know what he likes.
Exactly.
But I would like to partake in, you know, for my amusement, I would like to hear you say it, you know.
I like a big fat ass and big juicy titties. But sometimes they don't have that. But you gotta have at least one out of the 2. You gotta have at least one out of the 2.
Preferably the one. Shit. You got an A cup.
No.
Nah, I ain't no A cup.
Yeah, we not doing that. We not shit. Even I don't have an A cup. Yeah, you ain't getting away with no A cup in this motherfucker. Shit. We not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like you might not have a mountain, but we not going for no anthill. We not doing that. But
even I don't have an A cup.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like we not doing that. But anyway, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having requirements, as long as they are grounded in something decent, something reasonable, something that makes some sense. There ain't nothing wrong with making no sense. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But most of the people who rebel against this kind of shit are people who might be challenged in this area, but not,
Exactly.
or they're looking at it from an angle that, you know, from an angle where they're trying to make it seem like it's something sinister instead of something that's just a preference. You know, I mean, listen, man, I was born in the 70s. And 1970 is in fact. So I remember how almost anything light skin was acceptable. You know what I mean? Pretty or not, handsome or not. It was light, it was right. You know what I'm saying? You know, that, hey, people had that preference. You know, regardless of how I might have felt about it or whatever, it was what it was. But at some point in your life, you got to stop bitching about what somebody else is requiring or getting and concentrate on what you require and whether you are getting it or not. Because satisfied people don't complain a whole lot. Doesn't work that way. You know, it's the unsatisfied that are the squeaky wheels that need the grease.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you gonna be mad at somebody because how you gonna be mad at a woman because she won't date a man who don't have no sustainable income?
Exactly.
Who won't get up off his ass and go to work? Fuck. How you gonna be mad at a man because he don't want to deal with a woman that would rather collect the SSI check, SSD check, or welfare check instead of getting her able-bodied ass up and you know what I mean? Like the shit that people go through. I don't know if any of y'all know anybody like this, but the shit that people will go through just to get a check from the government. I've known people who played like they was crazy for years.
Mm-hmm.
For years. Just to get an SSI check. And I'm like, for years, you could have been working and building. You could have been stacking.
Mm-hmm.
You doing all of that shit for less than $1,000 a month? You really are crazy. And anybody who has ever gotten SSI knows that by the time you got finished pretending like you was crazy, you had actually achieved it. Because they got plenty of people who evaluate you. Like, that motherfucker ain't crazy. He ain't getting no check. So by the time you got finished that act, you was the real deal. You was living them lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. So yeah, I can't be mad at nobody for nothing like that. I mean, other crazy ass physical preferences and shit. I mean, that's for the shallow. We don't even have to go there.
Exactly.
But things that are rooted in some type of decency or truth or safety. How about that? Safety.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you can't be mad at somebody for requiring that. Like, yeah.
That's one of the things I require. Emotional safety. You're not gonna abuse me. I like good hygiene because I keep good hygiene. I don't like emotional abuse. So if we're triggering to each other and we're not trying to figure that out in a healthy way, I'm not getting down with you because that's one of my requirements, and I've learned that over time about myself. You can have a place. You have to have a place. I don't care if you have a room. If it is yours, if you have a studio or room, I don't care. If it is yours and you pay rent to be there every month, that is absolutely fine with me. A job, you have to have legal, sustainable income. That's the way I look at it because sometimes guys run their own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So, or women have their own business. They have different ways. They don't necessarily go to a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? But as long as it's legal and it's sustainable for you, please have that. A car, it can come and go. I really don't care because if you live in the inner city, there's so many different modes of transportation. But don't think that you're going to live in my car and I'm going to be responsible for chauffeuring you around. That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
On an emotional level, I'm not asking you to be like, if there's a scale of 1 to 100% of emotional intelligence, I'm asking you for maybe like 35 to 40% of that. That's being aware. Because if you've had trauma, anybody can be triggered at any time. But are you kind of like aware of that trauma? Are you aware when you're being triggered, and do you know how to emotional regulate? Because some people that I'm finding out don't know how to emotional regulate, and they use other people to emotional regulate.
Mm-hmm.
And while I can be there in that area with you, that's not a place where I choose to stay, because at the end of the day, I'm not really responsible for your hard emotions like you're not responsible for mine. That'll wear a person out. Also, do you have hobbies? Do you? Because a lot of people, I find out, they come from very codependent backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have things that you like to do? I'm not a very clingy woman, so I have things that I like to do, and outside of work, I got things that I like to do. I may not want to see you like every day outside of work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just being
Yo,
honest.
you right
I
about
don't
that
want the
shit.
time,
Yeah.
and I don't want to cuddle and love on you because you required it as a man. Men like nurturing and to be cuddled up on, and I
Mm-hmm.
like that too. But do we have to be under each other all the time and wear each other out? Like, do you know how to responsibly use that time outside of work? Some of that time for yourself, and then have good hygiene. Take care. I'm finding out like right now I have braces and I take care of myself. And I use my income to take care of myself. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. Some brothers don't. They don't really. They don't floss. But they mouth. I'll be like, how your mouth? You know, you're not flossing or at this age, and I'm not about to teach you how to do that at 50 something years old.
Facts.
Teaching you how to floss and take care of simple things like is your mental health. Now I understand things like depression. I ain't beat no brother up because some people we can work and be depressed while we working. I'm not beating nobody up for that. But my thing is, are you going to the appropriate places for help? Are you getting those resources for help and not expecting me coming to me to do everything for you? Because I'm not going to put certain responsibilities in your hands. I'm just not going to do that because
Facts.
I'm aware that that can run a person down. So over the years, it took me time to learn these different things about myself, and it took me time to be single to really say, okay, well, what do you like? What are your strengths? Because a lot of times we recycle relationships. We jump from one to jump to another one to jump to another, not to really face our own demons or look at ourselves because sometimes we're scared to be alone. So it takes time to really know what it is that for me, I'm not for me it took time to know what it is that I wanted outside of just those those aspects of Maslow's hierarchy. Those
Mm-hmm.
things like shelter, water, food for you to have for yourself. It took for me time to know what I needed emotionally from a standpoint of a man and what I want and what I can give to you emotionally. Because again, I tend not to ask for no more than what I can give. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you have extra to give me, I'm grateful on any day. I have a heart of gratitude. But if you don't, then save that for yourself because I'm all about you taking care of you. You ain't got to be set on fire to take care of me. I'm not with, and nor am I going to sacrifice myself and be set on fire to take care of you. How can we do this thing together? You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Can I ask you, do they have a, where do you grow, they grow you at?
Look, it's 4 o'clock. Don't answer that question. We out of here.
There's not a lot of flowers out there like you.
we we
It takes time. It don't, and I'm not perfect. It took me a lot of time, and I'm still working on certain things because I find myself. I come from trauma, so I had to know I can be triggered, and can I humble myself before a brother and say I'm sorry? It took time to go in and deal with a lot of these programs because a lot of the times, again, we are programmed what we like, what we don't like, what we program since childhood. So it takes a lot to go in there and undo some of these things that we have been rooted in since we was a child. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still growing. I got therapists. I got places and resources that I call to deal with certain things. I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm perfect and I got it all together, but I'm learning as I go along. That's why I know how to give people grace in certain areas, but certain areas where I gotta sacrifice myself to be with someone, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not going to do that. That's no longer that's not something that I require of myself anymore. You gotta catch the patterns that you do and then learn how to work the reverse of them. So it takes time. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't on no pedestal. It takes time. Cause I used to have a slick mouth. And I had to recognize that and take accountability for myself. With guys in the past, I had a slick mouth, I ain't gonna lie. And I learned that men don't like nagging. Men don't like that. Men don't like a woman being contentious towards them. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I learned to be more peaceable as I got older and take accountability for that, holding my tongue, because everything don't require for you to speak. Learn wisdom. Learn wisdom. Learn what wisdom is. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to speak on every account. You ain't got to tell a man this. You ain't got, because half the time a brother already know about himself. So what the fuck you talking for? You know what I'm saying? You can be respectfully heard, but you ain't got to nag a man. That's why I say it takes time. It takes time, brother. I ain't perfected.
Good shit. All right, we out. Listen, I appreciate y'all calling in. I appreciate the dialogue, the exchange, the back and forth, the whole conversation. This was eye-opening. This is good shit. Very, very, very good. So I want y'all to have a good night, and I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow, hopefully, prayfully. So
most definitely, man. Love, brother. Everybody in the chat. Be blessed. Be safe. Enjoy your day.
All right.
All right, boy.
God bless y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Kicking it with you. Always good kicking it with y'all.
Without a doubt. All right. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious October 21st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Maya Watson and India Thomas Johns, Irene Hendricks, Rita Spriggs, Karen Murray, Natasha Paget, Jennifer Eden, Queenie Emma, Tracy Young, and last but not least, my girl Mina Holiday. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious October 21st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, to rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, there's nothing wrong with having standards. There's nothing wrong with having requirements. And there's also nothing wrong with making sure that your standards and your requirements are rooted in something decent, something reasonable, something that is sustainable, and something that's not going to be offensive to other people or detrimental or dangerous to yourself. We all got choices. We all have preferences. So let's make sure that we act like grown men and women and choose wisely. And maybe that will trickle down or, swing over to our young ones where we can guide them in a better way. So, peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night with another Daily Go Get-Emism show. So make sure y'all come on through, man. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to the show as much as I enjoyed broadcasting it. Y'all be safe. It's either time to go to bed or time to go to work. Whatever one y'all do, make sure y'all hit that like button. I get with y'all later. Holla. Peace.